Hello and welcome back, or welcome to Season 2 of Hardcore Minecraft with me, Doom Mountain. And today, it's all about you guys, the viewers. We are last episode, after doing a bit of greenery work around here, as you can see, including in another watchtower, which I went off camera and put in the stone, replacing the sandstone, just so it looks a bit more realistic and it doesn't wash away too much with the sand that was around with the building. We asked for some ideas, over on Discord and Instagram and in the comments section of that last video for some build ideas to put into two locations around our island. The first location was being this open space here, and as you can see by, two chests here, I'm quite ready for this idea, and this one's going to be pretty cool. So this is probably where we'll start, but there was one other spot that we were working on. And that other spot would be this section here that's sort of the higher ground between where our villages are, our down section there below where we'll talk about last episode, and all of our, horse stable, camel stable, blacksmith. This section here needed something to be built, and over on Instagram I got a really, really good comment. But as you can see, we don't have any chests here like we did over in that other area. It's just because I've got the idea. I wanted to start my first one first before we let it slip away. So yeah, this is the sections that we will be building up in today's episode. And all these builds will be, they're ideas that came from you guys. So I hope you're ready and look forward to it. So let's jump in. Alright, so our first idea that we will be building up in this space here is a hedge maze. Now this is brought to us by Athika over on Discord, who left this really cool comment for that, and I thought it'd be a perfect idea to put it over here because Athika and I both agreed that we wanted the hedge maze to be out of the green standard leaves and not the pink ones that we kind of see everywhere else. And as we'll talk about last episode, we wanted a bit more of this. The enchanting tower behind me was sort of the blossoming essence of our nature and everything like that, and I wanted a bit more greenery closer to the enchanting tower because as it sort of spreads out a little bit more, it corrupted, and that's where we've got the pink flowers coming in, the pink trees, everything. So over here we're going to start off by building ourselves a hedge maze, and I've gone along, collected up a lot of these azalea leaves, and it's amazing just how little of the flowering ones you get in comparison to all the others. So I think let's grab a few stacks of each one of these and just sort of start off with where our basic idea is going to be. So as you can see, I've kind of marked out where I want my entrance to be by these two here. Now I do want this to actually be a part of the wall, and if we sort of come along here, you can see that if I map out where we want our space. So first off, let's build the square, the rectangle that the maze will be inside of, and then we'll work around with our maze. So I'm thinking that if we just sort of run it along here, random intervals adding in the flowers, the standard leaves, just to sort of break it up a little bit. But other than that, I think we just keep going along till we get to our first challenge, which is the rock here. So I think, why not just bring it out a little bit, like so. How long till we've cleared it? And, this one here would have cleared it, so now we can bring it back along. Okay, now I want our maze to finish here. Okay, so I want this to be where our exit is, and then the idea is that once you've completed this maze, you get to come out into a nice little garden area here. We could sit down and rest, and there might be some goodies stored and some chests over here. We will have to go through and make sure that this section's closed off with probably those lecterns and everything like that we've been using to really sort of show that if you want to enter it through, get to that spot, you've got to make your way through the maze. So we've almost got our shell built. Let's quickly go around and finish this off. Now I don't think we're going to be able to go smoothly straight much longer, so let's turn here. We'll go up 3, and that should lead us all the way back to where we wanted to go. Alright, and as we can see, here is our outline. So our maze will be inside of this section. I'm not going to make it too tall at the moment because while we're building it up, I want to be able to actually, jump up and get out of places if I need to be, so we can get more resources and that. But I think this is a really, really cool just sort of starting block. So it's getting a bit dark now, so I'm going to quickly sleep away the night. And then when we come back in, let's make our path, how we're going to get from point A to point B. All right, I'll be back in a moment. All right, so I think we just use some pathing blocks to mark out where our paths are, because hostile mobs can't spawn on it. So if the maze gets a little bit dark, it means that mobs aren't going to spawn there and attack us, but it also means that we have something that actually looks like a path leading us in our direction. So if we make our entrance into here, actually let me get some dirt on the hotbar so that way I can easily erase mistakes, like so. And so I think let's bring our true path. We're going to go in along this way. We'll go in. We want to go, yeah, let's go something like that. Then we could wrap it around, bring it all in. We go up, in, along. Okay, and this here is the maze path that is the correct one. So this is our first one in there. This is going to lead us to, you know, from the start to the finish. Now, obviously, where those chests are, they'll be gone once I finish up all the resources. But yeah, this is going to be our correct path. Now, I want to go in and add in a few leaves to sort of outline the sections here so I know where I can put extra paths, and then we can start doing a bit more of the chaos. So let me go around and follow all of this path with a one high leaf block border, and then we'll be back for the next part. So with that now all laid out, we have the perfect sort of spacing where we can add in our little trap decoy paths, where we can add in our dead ends. There's also a guy with a trident down that end near the water, so I'm gonna try and avoid him. But as you can see here, we've got a nice little way to work out how we're gonna go ahead and do our pathing. So let's go on down and let's talk it through. So I think it's only fair that we do allow for an option for our path to go here, walk off into there, and even just get yourself lost like that. So you see here, perfect little decoy pathway. Okay, yep, dead end. I'll come up through here. Obviously, once we make these all too tall, it's going to be a lot harder. But yeah, you'll be able to work your way around and find all of that. And a lot of this is going to be dark because there is no lighting in here. So yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. Right, so our next little decoy pathway. Oh, perfect. We have something here. So I think that one, there we go. Or yeah, it's going to be way better off for it's a dead end path there. And if I put one there, so that way we got like that, and one here. Nice. Alright, and there we have it, our hedge maze. Now I need to go and make it all, 2 blocks high, so you can't just jump over and sort of cheat your way through, and obviously make it look a little bit more pretty. But here we go. We've got ourselves our skeleton shape of our hedge maze, and I really am happy with this. It kind of adds a bit more mystery in that into this island. So I think now I'll go ahead and double up all of these leaves before we come back and start just fixing up the sort of the starting point, and then we can build up our victory park area. So yeah, what do you guys think of this maze at the moment? I'm quite happy with it. Alright, now doesn't that look a lot more of an intimidating hedge maze now that it's 2 layers tall? It has all of its different sort of twists and turns in it, and I have run through it a few times. It is a little bit easy to get mixed stuff around in there, so I'm looking forward to eventually, when the time comes and I die and this world becomes a download, people can come and run through the maze. A few notes though that I have noticed is I'm probably going to have to run along this top line here with some glow lichen just to produce a little bit more light. I don't think it needs it anywhere else, but if I just run it along the top here, that should solve any sort of to darkness issues. Now, as you can kind of see here, I have also gone around and added in the greenery and, just making it look nice. So we've got our entrance up here. I'll probably put a sign up here saying, the hedge maze, suggested to us by Athica, and we can get that sign up there. I've also gone around and just finished off the pathways either side, as well as including this section here. Now, I haven't put any cherry blossom trees into this section because, well, as we were saying at the start here, we want this area to be a little bit more greener and, you know, get its inspiration from the Enchanting Tower, which does have one of those spore blossoms at the top there which sends off the green particles, but unfortunately they just aren't quite making it to this point. But this is where I want all our greenery stuff to be. So as you can see, this here, other than getting that glow lichen in, is quite finished, the maze. We now just need to add in our, you know, champions area. This is where, you know, you win. Once you finish, you get all your, just, yeah, you've just gone through a maze and we've really just given you an area to hang out and just relax after stressfulness. That's all you kind of achieve from it. But we need to work out an area here and, you know, get in some more of those lecterns along here so we can separate all of this and fix up the torch span. So I think for now, let's mark out our paths and just sort of get used to that. Now, I think this area here will be full path blocks, so I'll give it that 3 wide. We could just sort of extend our path here, getting rid of any of the torches. I think we might have ourselves a bit of a chair here, so I'll put that there for now. We'll stretch out our pathway, and I think we should have a little bit of a table somewhere over here. So we come on over with our campfires and run it this way, put them out, and then leave a space for our table. So we'll get that like so. Chuck these in here. Crouch place these in. Add ourselves some backings to our chairs, like so. Perfect. And let's just put a touch of a light with a lectern just in the middle. Lectern? A lantern in the middle. I'm going to get them all confused up. But then we can just sort of continue on our path here, have it just sort of wrapping on out, starting to sort of decay just a little bit. We might even make up a bit of a stairwell here, so I'll go get some of that staring blocks so we can, oh, I didn't mean to break that one, but we can add in another one of these chairs, which I really do sort of like because they act as both a bed and, you know, just a nice decorative chair. So we're going to make a few more of those oak trapdoors, throw in our oak signage on the sides, give them a bit of arms for the chairs, and it's just a really nice little touch. Now I think I originally saw this years ago on like Fwip, one of his survival worlds, but they just add in a nice sort of touch in here, getting the beds in there. I think we should probably come back and put a street light over here, as well as one over here. And I think we should continue on our pathway to be able to come on down here. And we'll just make it a bit more of like, maybe just a bit more of a standard seating. So instead of having the beds, I might have the spruce chairs, like the stairs, and then just put the oak fences on the side to give it a bit more of a chair like we did over by our campfire on the other side. So once we get these in here, we can just go around, add in a campfire or two because, you know, they are just relaxing. So maybe just plonk one over here. Definitely put one down on this side. So I think we'll get rid of this sapling and put in a campfire, leaving us with one more. So why not? Yeah, why not put that there? We'll break this one and move our bed so it's back in line with it just a bit more over here. So that looks alright. But yeah, I think this is basically what I'm going to do for detailing it now. I'm just going to remove all of the torches, finish up our path blocks, get in those little bit of steps here, and then bring us all back in. And this should be nice and finished. I think for now I'm going to leave this one tree. It's like the last surviving oak tree, but yeah, I think it might stay here with the melons underneath it. But yeah guys, let me get this done and I'll bring you all back in. Alright, so now when we finally make our way through our maze and enter into the victory lane, you can see that we're greeted with our campfires, our lovely lectern railing with the yellow carpet on top, and just, yeah, it's all, like as I said, we were here designing up where everything could go, and I've just gone through and tidied it up, added in a few chests where I want to put some prizes that we actually gain a bit further on down the road so that we can actually have a bit more of a treasure pool sitting over here for going through the maze. But we've got a nice little pathway walking down here so we can observe the last oak tree in our island. This is probably the only one that made it through it when our mystical, you know, leaf, flower of life planted. it's the only oak tree we got left. So yeah, I thought we'd leave it here and actually have it as part of a treasure within this section. Now, I know I said I might come back down here and put in some spruce, just pretend chairs, but the spacing really didn't allow for it, and I thought, I've got one chair here which acts as the bed. You can still see across the water and some drowns down there, but yeah, I thought, it just leaving it a little bit more open kind of helps, just keep it a bit more of a clear look for the eye, so it's not also cluttered all together, and everything just sort of has a bit more of a smoother transition as you're walking through. But guys, this is our first viewers area built up. We have the hedge maze, which you can see along the top there. I've gone through and put in all of those glow lichens so that we wouldn't get any hostile mobs possibly spawning in and around here. So it does look like a snail has run across the whole track, but it's going to give us that little bit of light, but it's not going to take away from menacingness of a hedge maze that could be challenged at night. So now that we have finished up our hedge maze, which was a suggestion brought to us by our friend Athika over on Discord, it's now time that we jump into this area here, which was a suggestion over on Instagram from Flavors of Minecraft, who suggested that we build either a bee farm or a flower temple. Now, unfortunately, we already have a pretty good bee farm which is working away really, really well. And some could say that this is even a shrine to flowers, or especially the new flower typing. Although we already have these two sort of similar ideas, I do really, really like the temple concept, or the idea of a monumental something to nature. And I have done one of these before in a previous world. That would be my Foxwood statue. Now, this statue, I'm going to try and get a few little clips coming up along the screen now, but this was a statue of the grand fox that lived long, long ago in our area of Foxwood where we had built up our town. It was a statue that was underneath the caves. It was, it had mystical gems all around it, and it was a representation of the nature of, Foxwood. It was the essence of the area. And so I thought that that'd be a really cool sort of just a little nod back to a previous world, but also a really good sort of just idea for a nature flower themed sort of temple or shrine where we're going to be able to, worship these things. So, and, well, another thing that you may be hearing is my voice is still slightly going out. Now, I did last week put out a little note saying in the community thing that I have been a little under the weather, and it's been a bit hard to realise that you kind of need your voice to record. So, what I'm going to do is I'll hopefully have flashed over those snippets so you can sort of see what it looked like in the old world, that sort of stuff, and I'm going to just try and build straight into this and rest my voice. So guys, yeah, let me bring you back to a bit of a temple look over here. Well, more of a shrine. Let's be honest, it's going to be a shrine. Alright, back in a moment. Alright, so my voice is back to normal. I am feeling much better now, and we have ourselves our Foxwood statue over here. The statue that represents the nature and the life essence of Foxwood itself has been brought over here to our Season 2 hardcore world. Now, as you can see, I have almost block for block brought this over. I didn't quite do as much detailing in like the puffiness of the tail and the little bit of the white beard around the mouth. I kind of left that all as just the calcite, but it's still, I'm really happy with this. As you can see, yes, with the torch spam around, but come on guys, I was a little bit sick. I just managed to get the fox built up into this place, and honestly, I'm happy with it. I mean, I know it's not a temple of flowers or, something like that, but it is a shrine, and there's still plenty of decoration that needs to go along here. For example, I really do think that we need to somehow ring off this area just so it can stand out a little bit more from the rest of this path. Then we need to start including ourselves a pathway that stretches all the way back to the start there behind our carrot farm. Once we've got that into place, I really think that we should stretch out the path either side with all different flowers, you know, just have them pop. We've got the 2 tall flower varieties. I think we've got about 4 of them, 5 if we count the new one. I think that's the pitcher plants. I think so. But if we get them all along the side, they're adding a few a few seating areas. I think that's really going to make this pop and, you know, give us a really nice sort of representation of Flavors of Minecraft's idea of a nature monument. I know I've twisted it a little bit, but the inspiration came from that post. So yeah, I think that's what we need here. Even from here, it just looks so much neater. Like honestly, this was a terrific idea to build here. Set up this little bit of a shrine to nature, have the 4 2 tall flower segments growing in the background here. I really love it. Now, I have gone around and tried to get a few bees in here, but they're still in the we gotta grow up stage. But honestly, guys, this hasn't turned out too bad. Like, I'm happy with it. Considering, you know, I got sick halfway during recording of this episode, and which put massive delays on it. Well, I won't get into that. I think that we came up with a pretty good idea. You know, we've got each segment broken off with all of our flowers here. We've brought in the lecterns to sort of, you know, surround off and break up the areas so, you know, we can actually have a bit of our eye getting drawn to different sections. And seeing that, you know, it's not just one continuous section. There are little breaks and peaks for you to explore and sort of make a bit more interest in it. Did that make any sense? I really hope so, because I do have a tendency to ramble. But with all that said, guys, I think that this here has popped up nicely. We look really, really cool with this little shrine here, bringing over our old Foxwood statue. Now, I don't know how many of you guys may have been around for the very early days of my channel when we were doing the Realm of Midgard with our friends Athika and Mr. Pro Rager, but it really does warm my heart to be able to log on in our hardcore world and now see this fox statue. It really, really does just make me so happy to see this. Now, I will have to touch on the fact that I got sick halfway between this recording of this episode and that sort of thing, so it has been quite delayed than I would have liked to have gotten this out. And, you know, I had the idea and the target was to get the 2 viewers' builds built up in this world. And, well, we have achieved that this time around. Okay, the episode's a little bit shorter than my usual hardcore ones. However, though, I think we're just going to have to accept that so we can get this one out without any more delays. But with that said, it's not like we haven't really achieved anything in this episode. Not at all. We are now the proud new owners of a quite intriguing and somewhat challenging hedge maze that may look like we've had giant snails crawling along the top. But, you know, this is a good time now to see it a little bit dark. It does allow for the light to come in and challenges to be accepted at night. We also pulled off building up the Champions Circle, where, you know, once you've completed this maze and this challenge, you can come up here and relax in, you know, good fortune, where you've got the last surviving oak tree here. Well, I'm not sure if it's the last surviving or we're tying it in with it's the only sort of proper one that enchanting tower built. Either way, you get to chill out and relax with this lovely build. And finally, we managed to bring over one of my favourite builds from an old, beloved world. We were able to bring over a touch of nature and maybe even develop a little bit more lore within our world. This area here I am really happy with, especially looking at it at night time. and I think it's a really good spot to wrap up this episode. So, as I've said, I do apologise, it's a little bit shorter than our usual hardcore episodes. However, though, being sick and having delays cause, we work with what we can do. But I'd like to thank everyone who has tuned in. I would love to thank both Athika and Flavors of Minecraft for showing the some ideas that you thought would look really cool in this world, and I much appreciate it. So guys, thank you all for watching, and until next time,